All right. Oh, Katie now is joining us too. Good. You can hear me, right? Okay, good. For some reason, like the speakers aren't working, so I wanted to make sure. I was like, oh, okay, because normally it gives us that lady that comes on and says, this meeting's now being recorded, and I wasn't hearing it. I'm like, okay, so just want to make sure that you guys could hear me for sure. Before we get started, truly get started, we are going to do at one point Malasana pose. So that is the one where we're nice and stretched out wide. I'm doing this really quickly. It won't be quite looking like this, but this lovely one where we crouch down. And so if that is not your favorite pose, or if you're up onto your heels, I'm just going to tell you that a way to bring the heels or the floor closer to you is taking a blanket, and you can roll up a blanket. So, and you can step your heels on the edge of that blanket, and then it makes it where it's a little more comfortable for and accessible for people to do. Can you guys see that? I wonder if I need sure I'll step back a little further. So yeah, so if your heels, if you're the type of person that you don't have the flexibility or have an impingement in your heel or your ankle, you might, when you come down, your heels might be up and off the floor. So you just use a lovely blanket and you're able to make that pose a little bit more accessible. So, oh, we got even more people, yay. So if you don't have super flexible heels and you have a blanket near you, that might be something that you'll want to use when we get there. So, all right. Okay. You guys ready? Oops, I suppose I should put me on the spotlight, right, Patty? Everyone's like, hey, Patty's teaching today. No, it'd be me. All right. So, all right, you guys come to a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like to you today, whether it's cross-legged or feet out in front. And just go ahead and take a moment to lengthen through that spine, sitting up nice and tall, soften through the shoulders, soften through the face and the eyes and jaw. And let's just take a few nice, long, deep breaths here. Really fill the lungs all the way to the top. And then exhale out. Nice slow breath in. Long, slow breath out. I want you to do about 4 more of those nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Take your time. Excellent. Then go ahead and bring the chin down towards the chest. From here, we'll set our intention for our practice tonight. And go ahead and send a kind thought off to someone else. Excellent. Go ahead and lift up the head, and we're going to move right into child's pose. So go ahead and find a child's pose with the knees out nice and wide. Toes are closer together. Find that child's pose. Find that connection of the forehead down to the floor. Now, while we're here in this child's pose, if you know Ujjayi breathing, I want you to transition to that. If you recall, that's that breath that is like you're fogging up a mirror. Like if you had a mirror in front of you, you'd like do that ha sound, except the mouth is closed. And it's nice and slow, just like that samavriti, that even breath. So ujjayi, just keep it nice and long. And as we find that throat restriction as we exhale, we also want to see if we can hold on to that restriction, that little bit of restriction in the throat as we inhale. Now I'm going to remind you to come back to this breath when we are doing our practice today. Not that you have to do it the whole time, but there's a few poses that we're going to hold a little bit longer. And so this ujjayi breath will maybe help you find a little stability and a little bit of help to stay in that posture. So take a few more breaths here. Excellent. And we're going to slowly start to come up, and we're going to transition right to our back. So we're going to come down onto our back today. Tonight, I should mention, we're going to do quite a bit of twists, and we're going to do a lot of hip openers. And that's why I want that connection to the breath today, so you can really tell if it's feeling good in your body. So use, as you know, use your breath as your guide. But we're going to come down onto our back, and we're going to work on just at first a little bit of hamstring stretch. So let's go ahead, and we're going to bring our right foot, and we're going to stretch it out, and we're going to flex the foot. So like you're pressing your heel into a wall, and like you're pressing it down into the mat, not hard, but just a little bit of pressure, like you're pushing against on the way out of the heel and down towards the mat. But that's the leg that's stretching. The other leg, the left leg, we're going to press our heel up towards the ceiling. And if you notice, if you take a little quick peek, my leg is not straight because I haven't woken up my hamstrings yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fingers, the tips of my fingers, and really kind of give it a nice little massage. But also, it's almost like I'm itching it, like I'm raking my fingers into that leg and just kind of waking up that muscle. So go behind the knee, and then kind of work your way down to the head of the field where that hamstring probably feels a little tight. And gently, if you keep pressing with that heel, at least in my body, it wakes my hamstrings up and it kind of releases them, saying, hey, it's okay to be a little bit straighter. All right, we're going to release that. So bring both knees back into the chest. Maybe give yourself a little rock side to side. And we'll go to the other side. So this time that left leg is going to extend. We're going to pretend like we're pushing out towards the heel, like we're pushing against a wall that's in front of us, and then pressing gently that heel down into the floor, really engaging that extended leg. And then we'll see where this one's at. So flex your foot, heel goes up towards the ceiling. Don't force it straight, but just kind of come to a place where it's kind of working on that hamstring, and then go ahead and take those fingers. Same thing on this side. Give it a little wake up call on the back of the leg. I don't know about you, but you can obviously see in my body, this works really well for me to kind of get that release in the back of my leg, especially behind the knee on this side. So behind the knee, find where that tight muscle is, really work into there. All right, I got a straighter leg just like that. Bring both knees back into the chest, and we're gonna work on a twist to start with too. So since we're doing a twist right off the bat, be very, very mindful. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna place our feet down onto the floor. We're gonna lift our hips off the floor. And then as we bring our vertebrae down onto the floor, I'm going to shift my hips over about an inch. So I'm bringing my hips down, and then I'm going to push them over just to the left a little bit. You'll feel like it's a little bit off, right? Lift up the knees, and then you're going to let your knees go over towards the right. And notice my knees aren't staying together. That's fine. I just want a little gentle twist in the back. Make sure it feels okay. If not, just bring those knees back to the center. Take a few breaths where you really find a deep exhale. letting it release down into the floor. Excellent. Be very, very mindful. Bring those knees back to the center. Notice I'm going to grab my hand and place it under my knees and push them back into the center. Feel free to take a little rock side to side, giving it that little massage. And then go ahead and place those feet down onto the floor. We're going to do the same thing. So lift up those hips off of the floor, activating those hamstrings a little bit, right? And then as we lower, get one vertebra at a time, we're going to shift over to the right. Then my hips are going over to this side. Bring the knees up, and the knees are going to the opposite side, to the left. Again, same thing. It doesn't need to be forced or anything. Wherever your knees land is good. Then take a few breaths here. Really try to sink and relax. Check in, make sure it feels comfortable and easy. So we do have quite a few twists in our practice today. So then go ahead when you're ready. We're going to take that hand underneath that bottom knee, push those knees back up towards my center, pull them in, give it a little rock side to side. Give yourself that little mini back massage. And then go ahead and start to rock it front and back. I like crossing my ankles and placing my hands underneath my knees or behind my knees, so it'll help me come back up to seated. Excellent. All right. From here, we're going to come into a nice wide-legged stance. So come up, feet are nice and wide. And we're just going to work on a little bit of mobility in our spine today. So we're going to find a little circles here. Just check it, and it's pretty small, but what I'm thinking about doing is making a circle with my rib cage. So it's like the Sufi rolls. If we've done that, we usually do them cross-legged. Here you might not have as much mobility. So just think about that, a little bit of circle. Feel free to place the hands in front, behind, wherever they feel good. Just kind of work on that little bit of mobility. All right, let's switch direction. Same thing. Ooh, I maybe get a little bigger on this side. Maybe it woke up or warmed up. So be mindful, of course, one side might be different, right? A couple more here, check in, see how things are feeling with everything. And then come back up to the center. I'm going to go ahead, we're going to do a couple neck rolls. So working on the upper spine. So feel free just to bring the head down and roll it. If you just want to roll it ear to ear, you're welcome to. And if you're okay with it, you can go ahead and roll that head nice and slow all the way around. And let's switch direction. Paying attention to that breath, noticing any tightness. Remember, tightness is okay. Pain is not. So if something just doesn't feel right in your mind right now, you're like, this doesn't feel right, don't do it, right? All right, bringing the head back towards our center. Go ahead and look over to the left. Scan the horizon, look over to the right. Excellent, and come back towards our center. I bet you didn't notice we were working on that nice little bit of a stretch on the inner thighs that whole time, right? So let's go ahead, bring the toes a little bit forward. And rotate the toes a little bit backward or towards the back of us there. Just a little hip mobility, front, forward, and back. checking in, making sure everything feels okay. All right. Now, before we get into some deeper hip stretches, let's do a little easier one on the floor to check in. We're doing 90-90. This is a 90-degree angle, 90-degree angle. So we can start here. I'm going to turn a little bit to the side. And this is the one where we have one knee in front, 90-degree angle, one over to the side, nice little 90-degree angle. If it feels okay to you, you can walk those hands out in front over that front leg. You can come down to forearms. You can come down to onto your stomach or onto your forehead. What am I trying to say? Fists on top of fists, forehead to the fist, wherever you find that connection. Excellent. Just finding that nice little opening here. And then let's go ahead and move to the other side. So same thing, all we have to do is lift the knees up and bring them back down. And guess what, we're on the other side. Feel free to adjust. I just noticed if you saw me, I kind of moved around to make sure I was feeling good on this side. Lift up, and when you're ready, go ahead, bringing that chest down or walking those hands out, whatever feels good on this side. All right, slowly, mindfully coming back up. Back with our knees together, and we will face the front of your mat. We're going to go through a nice slow salutation. Find a little stretch here. So go ahead, find tabletop to start with. You want to find a little movement here, go ahead. This is your time to kind of work through some things. If you want to go right up into a downward dog and pedal that out, feel free to do so. I'm going to go ahead now, toes up, find that lovely down. All right, go ahead and look forward towards those hands, walking those feet up. Give myself that nice little knee bend, roll up. We're gonna go through the Hatha series salutation, just a nice slow one to kind of get that beginning stretch. And then we're gonna work through a couple of the Ashtanga the quicker salutation A to warm up the body a little bit. So we'll start with a nice stretchy one. So inhale, bring those hands up overhead. Nice big inhale. And then exhale. As we exhale, rotate those knees inward and find that forward fold. Feel free to bend the knees to allow for that. If those hamstrings are still tight, get that chest down onto the thighs. Release the head down. Maybe you're shaking it yes and shaking it no. Go ahead and bring the weight of the feet over to the right. So shift your weight to the right. Left foot cranes up, slides back, bring it down. This nice low lunge. You know where we're going. So knee down, look up. Beautiful. And we're going to walk it back. We're going to find that nice stretch through the back of the leg right away. Find that breath. You can connect with that Ujjayi breath here if that feels good to you. Think about long spine, looking forward. Walk those hands forward. Bring that front foot back into downward dog. Connect with that breath. Like I said, you can work through the Ujjayi breath here, through the salutations. All right, knees, chin, and chest coming down to the mat. So knees, chin, chest, all the way down, and then snake down into that cobra. We're going to do the three cobras. So little baby cobra, lift up, and exhale, bring it down. Inhale, bringing it a little deeper. Press with the hands if you like. Look up. Finding that spinal mobility. Exhale, bringing it down. Last one. Come up as deeply as you wish. If you'd like to hold it at the top a little bit, you are welcome to. But we won't hold it too long. So when you're ready, come back down. Tuck those toes under. Find our downward dog. So tabletopping up or push up back towards our downward dog. Reconnect with the breath. Beautiful. All right. Now look forward towards the hands. Right foot comes forward. Little look up. And then go ahead and step that left foot back forward into that forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Look up towards the hands. In your neck allows it. Maybe a little tiny back bend. Squeeze the glutes a little to protect that lower back. And then exhale, hands at heart center. Beautiful. Inhale, bring those hands up overhead. Start to rotate those knees in towards one another. And then find that forward fold. I'm going to use a nice flat back if I can. Come on all the way down into that beautiful forward fold. Shaking the head yes and no if that felt good to you. This time shifting the weight over to the left. Right foot cranes up, slides back, and floats down to the mat. You guys know where we're going. Knee down, look up. Find that little stretch through the hip. And then walk it back, toes come up in the front, find that stretch, long spine, look forward. Ujjayi breath. Find that Ujjayi breath, hold yourself here. Making sure everything feels good and safe. Walk those hands forward, plant the hands down, front foot comes back into our downward dog. Knees, chin, and chest coming up. So when you're ready, look forward towards the hands. Knees, chin, and chest. See if you can hold it here in this posture for just a moment, just a couple breaths. And release. Go ahead and find your cobra however you wish. And exhale back down, finding downward dog. So tabletop up, or that lovely push up, back to our downward dog. Looking forward towards the hands, left foot comes forward, look up. And then we bring the other foot to meet its friend, right? And then either knee bending up or find that flat back. Rotate those knees in, feel that flat back. Bringing it up all the way. Reach up overhead. Exhale. And that's that heart center. And then exhale down at the side. Close your eyes if you wish. Take a nice deep breath in. And a big full exhale out. All right, we're going to do just a couple of the salutation B. That's the one with the chaturanga and up dog. So if you don't like doing that one, feel free to run through a hatha sequence. It should take about the same time. So whichever you prefer. But I'm going to cue the Ashtanga salutation B. So roll the shoulders back. Inhale, bring the hands up. Exhale, find that forward fold. Nice flat back. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, look at the floor. Beautiful, come back down, plant the hands. Nice, stepping back into high plank. Holding that hip plank, press to the heels, look forward, come down, finding cobra or up dog. Remember, up dog, we stop halfway, lift the chest, lift the feet. Spread those collarbones, open the chest, and then find downward dog. Find that breath, connect with it. Beautiful, look forward towards the hands, walk or hop forward, halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, look up towards the hands. And exhale, center. Let's go right into the next one. Inhale up. Exhale, forward, forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bring it down. Step back, high point. Beautiful. Come on down, finding cobra or up dog. And finding our down dog. Beautiful. Bring the knees out wide, toes touch, child's pose. Check in. Connect with that breath. We're going to move on to another series because we're going to work into our hips tonight. So this next series is going to be about our hips, so focus there. And we are going to go into a flip dog or a wild thing or a flip dog. It's not in your practice. You can just sit up and watch if you want, or you can modify it, of course. All right, so when you're ready, go ahead and come back up towards our tabletop. We're going to tuck our toes under and find that downward dog. Turn a little bit at an angle for this. All right, we're going to go ahead into a three-legged dog. So go ahead and lift the left leg nice and high. Bend that knee and open that hip. Find that ujjayi breath. We're going to hold this for a little bit. Now, you might notice there's more weight on the right side. If that feels good to you, stay here. If not so much, just shift your body weight over to the left. But if it feels good, it feels like you're really opening, stay right here. All right, bring that knee back to the center. We're bringing it up forward between the hands. Take your time. If you need to grab the foot and bring it forward, go ahead and do so. We can bring that back knee down. We're going to come into a lizard pose. So both hands go to the inside of the foot. If this feels good, and you can always come up if you need to. But otherwise, if you want, you can explore either coming down to the forearms. Check in, make sure everything feels okay. Try not to drop the head if you're here. So if you're here, you're kind of hanging out and drop the head. See if you can look forward, or at least keeping that long spine, right? Like your neck is just an extension, obviously, of your spine, right? Find that ujjayi breath. Go ahead, plant those hands and come up. If it feels okay, you can roll that foot over to the pinky side and open that knee up a little bit. Again, checking in, making sure it feels okay. We're doing a lot of hip openers right to start with here, right? All right, bring it back. Tuck the toes under. We're gonna bring our hand on both sides of that foot, bringing that foot. We're coming back into that three-legged dog. So go ahead, bring that foot up, find that three-legged dog, and then level the hips a bit, level them out. And I want you to take that back leg, that lifted leg, and draw a big circle with that knee. Big circle one direction, big circle the other direction. Excellent, okay. Three-legged dog again, really open up. See if you can see your foot behind you. We're going into flip dog. So when you're ready, let that back foot hit, open up, lift up the chest, find that ujjayi breath. See if you can hold this here for a little bit. You can look back, lift up, lift up. All right, from here, let the hips drop to the floor. We're just gonna sit down. Right? You're like, you might be off the mat, and that's okay. Go ahead and find a little bit of a forward fold. It's not very intense, just a little forward fold here. Take a few breaths here. We're going to flip back around from our flip dog into pigeon. You got it. I'll show you. You can watch first or go ahead and follow me. So bringing my right hand down, I'm gonna bring the pinky edge of my foot back to the floor, lift back up, I'm on my back, the toes on that standing foot there. And then I'm gonna look down at the left and roll back over and bring that knee right through the hands to pigeon. Yeah, bring that chest forward and come down into pigeon. Go ahead and find that Ujjayi breath again to check in. Couple more breaths here. Option to stay here or work on that king pigeon where we come up and reach behind to that back leg. Lifting that leg up, finding that stretch. So you're gonna pull that foot in towards the body. You can adjust your hand however it feels good, making sure nothing is like hurting. Remember, it's just a good stretch. If it's a stretch, think of it as being a stretch of the whole muscle, so it's not just tension on the hip and not just tension on the knee. Checking in, making sure it feels good, feels okay. And release when you're ready. Guess what? We get to do the whole thing on the other side. So tuck the toe under, press with the hands. Go ahead, bring that foot back. If you want to lift it up behind you, go ahead and do so. And then find that downward dog. We're going to move into that other side. So go ahead, feel free to pedal it out. Feel free to be still. Just notice the difference. Maybe one leg feels a little more energized than the other. All right, when you're ready, look forward towards the hands. Bring a foot forward. Drop that knee. Nice slow lunge here. Stay here if this is where you're at today. Otherwise, you know where we're going. Inside that lovely leg. Feel free to undo that back foot if that feels okay. Chest comes forward. Find that breath. Now, if things are feeling okay here and want a little deeper stretch, we can come down to the forearms into that lovely lizard. Ujjayi breath, check in. Remember with this one, don't let the head drop. We're looking forward. Using that head, thinking of that spine as all one nice long connected link there. If you're ready, go ahead and come up. We'll open that hip up. We'll bring that toe out. Open that nice little knee away from the body. I think you guys know. Pull that out, open there. Yep. Go ahead, bring it back. Hands go on either side of that foot. Tuck the toe under. We're going to bring this foot back. Lift it up. We're going to find that three-legged dog. Go ahead and open it up again. We kind of have the weight into the left. We can stay here. I realize we missed a downward or one of these open dogs, but I'll catch it. We'll catch it, I promise, at the end. All right, roll the hips back even. And then go ahead and rotate that knee. Draw a big circle in one direction. And the other. Actually, I think we did catch it. That was this. This will be the second one here. All right. Open that knee up. Find that three-legged dog again. Look behind you. See if you can see your toes behind you. So I'm looking under my left armpit. And then go ahead, I'm gonna let that foot drop, boom, and lift up your head and chest, and then you can look back behind you. So think about that open front body, hips up, chest up, breathe, find Ujjayi breath if that feels good to you. right, let the hips sink down. Sit down. Ooh. I'm gonna turn a little bit so you can see me, right? Go ahead, find that forward fold, nice and gentle. Just a gentle looking down, release, relax. That was a lot of work, right? All right, to flip back around. We're flipping back around and into pigeon. So left hand comes behind us. That left foot, the pinky edge goes down. We're gonna come up on the toes on this other foot. We reach up, finding that lovely flip dog. We look over to the right. And then all of a sudden, we're gonna look down, bring that hand down, swing that knee around, and we're gonna bring that knee right up between the hands into that pigeon pose. Same here, if that feels okay, check in with the Ujjayi breath. Bring the chest down, reconnect. Couple more breaths here. Feel free to stay here, otherwise working your way up, chest comes up, reach back. Find that lovely pigeon pose or that full pigeon if that feels good in your body. Now you can come down with the chest, it doesn't matter. We're just working on stretching that back leg. We're not working on any binds today, like hooking the elbow, unless you want to. Otherwise, just use, this is a little bit of a stretch through the front. Again, remember, no pain in the knee, no pain in the hip. The stretch, if you are working on it, you should feel it in the heart of the muscle, along the whole muscle, not just at the very ends. Go ahead and release that down. Ooh, yeah. Go ahead, plant those hands down, tuck the toes under, find our downward dog. Find that breath. Go ahead and look forward towards the hands, walk or hop forward. Come up however you wish, either flat back or roll up. We're going to be going into that Malasana pose. That's the one where we bring our feet out, knees out. This might be the one where you need the blanket under the heels. I'll show you again. So this is one where, actually I'll do it towards you. So we step out a little bit further than hip width apart. If we start coming down and those heels pop up off the floor, go ahead and step back onto a blanket or a cushion, whatever you need. Go ahead, take a nice deep breath in. And then slowly, as we bring the hands down past through heart center, we soften through the knees. We can adjust the heels however we need, coming down into Malasana. Now, when you get here, see if you can press open the knees. You can open this up, but also don't just press with the elbows. I want you to press your elbows into your knees, but your knees into the elbows as well. So you feel a little activation right through that hip. Checking in, making sure everything feels okay here. Lift up through the chest, find that Ujjayi breath. I always like to kind of feel a release in my tailbone. I kind of tuck it under, but that feels good to me. It might not feel good to you. So just play around, find your breath. Excellent. You can stay right here if you wish. Otherwise, I'm going to release a little bit with the elbows, bringing my right hand over towards my left foot. Left hand, I'm going to reach over, a little bit of a twist, right? I'm kind of leaning into that leg. Bringing it back towards our center. Other side, so left hand reaches over to the right, right hand reaches up and over. Excellent, go ahead and bring it back towards the center. And then go ahead and we're gonna come up to standing. So however you wish, if you wanna roll forward a little bit and lift up, you can. I'm gonna remove my blanket. I'm gonna roll on up. We're gonna step out wide. So however you want to do that, we're gonna step out for a nice wide legged forward fold. So check in. Maybe you wanna do a little hip circles just to check in with the hips a little bit, right? Feel pretty good to me today, so yay. All right, so wide-legged forward fold. Same thing as we do when we do the forward fold in salutations. We're gonna rotate, I'm exaggerating, but rotate your knees inward. So I'm rotating them right here, in. So they spiral inward. So spiral those knees in, and we're gonna bring the hips back, chest forward, nice and long, until we bring those hands down to the floor. You can release the head down. And I'm gonna adjust myself. I'm gonna bring my feet out just a little bit wider. So I want a good stretch through. We're gonna stretch our inner thighs a little bit. So I'm gonna bend my left leg and keep my right one right where it's at, pressing my pinky toe down into the mat. Check in with the knees, because I know this might, have a little tension on the inner knee. Slowly come to the other side, same thing, check it in, making sure it feels okay. And kind of just gently rock back and forth. If one position feels better than the other, go ahead and hang out there, spend a little time if that feels good in your body. We're gonna go into a twist here. So if that doesn't feel or doesn't sound like something you want to do, you can stay right here, just rocking it side to side. All right, go ahead. If you want to go into that twist, I'm going to lengthen through my spine. Left hand comes down. Right hand opens up toward the ceiling. And if it feels good to you, let that left hand drop back. Open that shoulder up a little bit. You can look up toward the ceiling if that feels good to you. Ujjayi breath. Slowly bring that hand back down towards the floor. I'm going to plant my hand just for a moment. Left hand slides out a little bit. Right hand comes underneath and grabs onto my left shin. From here, I can pull myself with that shin. I'm going to put my hand, I'm going to pull closer to that shin and look under. A little bit of a twist underneath here. Check in with those legs, rotating in a little bit. Nice spine, nice and long. Breath is slow and easy. Release, hands back towards our center. Come up a little bit if that feels good. If you need to loosen those legs up or soften through the knees and look up, go ahead and do so. And we're gonna go to the other side. So go ahead, left hand comes down, right hand comes up, nice twist. You can let it open. Beautiful. Bring that hand back down towards our center. Excellent. We're going to plant the hands just for a second. Right hand slides out this time. Left hand reaches over towards the shin. Left hand pulls the body. Look under that right armpit. Pulls the body like a nice little twist here. Find that Ujjayi breath, making sure it feels okay. Beautiful. And release and come back out. Gently soften through the knees. Bring those hands back. Roll on up. Nice and slow. Take your time. Beautiful. Let's heel toe those legs in and step to the front of the mat. I promise we're gonna get to the finale here before we know it. I'm like, woo, we gotta get to this lovely, we're doing standing pigeon for the end. So, all right, let's go ahead, step back with the left leg into warrior two. Nice warrior two, flip that front hand, find a reverse. You can look up towards the ceiling if that feels good. Go ahead, bring that elbow to the front knee, reach over. Really look up, really find that long length. I noticed I had my hips up, I'm bringing them down so I can have that long line. You can see yourself. Go ahead and find the warrior two again. Flip the hand, find the reverse. This time, if you can, bring the hand all the way to the floor. Press the knee into the arm and the arm into the knee. And look up if you can, and maybe find that rotation in the shoulders a little bit more. And you can walk that back foot back a little bit too. That feels good. Now, if you're here, you can bring that top hand up and over. Still looking up if your neck allows it. Rotating open towards the ceiling, towards the sky. All right, coming back to warrior two. So if you step back a little bit, you might want to step forward, finding that warrior two again. Beautiful, straighten that front leg, reach out a little, triangle pose. We won't be here long, so if you normally use blocks, don't worry. Press that hand into that leg, open the chest. Find that breath. Look down at that front leg, bend that front knee, warrior two. Hands at heart center. Straighten that front leg, we're leaping forward. Boom. Beautiful. Other side. I'm just doing a nice little back bend here. That felt pretty good. So if you need a little hip opener to the front, go ahead and do that. So other side, I'm just going to step to the other side here so you guys can see. Well, this time, plant the left foot, right foot comes back. Warrior two. Nice warrior two. Flip the front hand, you know where we're going. Find a reverse, look down at the back foot or look up. Really reach. And then bring that elbow forward. Reach over with that back hand. And then find that nice long line. So if the hip feels like it's floating up towards the ceiling, drop it down, maybe extend or walk that back foot back a little. Nice long line. Really, really reach those fingers and open up. So we're opening that top shoulder so we can look up towards the ceiling. Ujjayi breath. Excellent. Come back towards our warrior two. Flip that front hand, find that reverse. Coming back forward. This time, hand comes to the floor if you can. Press the knee into the arm into the knee. A little resistance in that front. Open that chest up, walk that foot back if that feels good. And then reach that hand over. Ujjayi breath, hold this pose if you can. Excellent, look down at that floor, coming back into warrior two. So if you walk that foot back, you might need to bring that back foot forward a little bit for stability and come back into that warrior two. Nice, we're gonna find that triangle. You're gonna flip that front hand first. Find a little bit of a reverse. Back to warrior two. Straighten that front leg, tipping down for our triangle on the other side. Be mindful, it might be different on this side. Look up if you can. Ujjayi breath. Right. All right, look down at that front foot, bend that front knee. Come back into our warrior two. Hands at heart center. Straighten that front leg, weaving forward to the front of our mat. Go ahead and shake it out. We're going on to our balancing series. See, I made it. We got time. So, standing pigeon. This is that lovely one where we do the figure four and come down the chest onto the thigh. So we're gonna do four total. So 2 each side, because we're gonna do one regular and then we're gonna do one with a twist. And it will be a little bit of a balance challenge, but I know you guys can do this. I know you can do it. So whichever side you like, we're gonna start with that heel. Roll the heel down forward towards the toes. Find a little softness in the knees so you can bring your foot up to that figure four. Now, if you're here, you can spread those arms out. I like to think about ropes holding on. And then when you're ready, you bring the chest down towards the thigh. Try to keep the hips low so you're almost in that nice little chair. Long through the spine. I just realized if your balance is compromised, feel free to bring your fingers to the floor. You can totally do that. I did that just now. I was like, oh, I'm kind of wobbling on this side. I want a finger down. Go ahead, place the finger down. Find that balance. When you're ready, slowly come back up. And we'll move to the other side. Shake it out if you need to. So yeah, a wall. You can always grab onto a wall. You can always use a floor. You can use a block as well. Heel down on the other side, right? We always tend to start with our favorite side. So yeah, here we go. Ready? A little bit of a softness in the knee. So we have a shelf. Find that figure four. When you're ready, bring it down. Chest comes down. Remember the back of the thigh is parallel to the floor. Nice and long. Look down at the floor for your balance here. When you're ready, slow and steady, come on up. All right, and release. I'm going to show you this pose before we go into it because I don't want you trying to get into it and looking, just, as we go. I noticed I'm a little bit wobbly this afternoon, so bear with me. So if I'm wobbly, you'll still get the idea of the pose. So it's still that same figure four. I'm going to do this fairly quickly. We'll come down, but then whichever side your foot is on, you're twisting to the opposite direction. I have to look out a little bit in front of me. If I look down, I'm going to be too close into my body. So I'm going to find that figure four. Elbow comes to that opposite knee. It's a nice little stack here. So think stack, stack. And if you can come down a little bit, great. So, ready? You ready? Okay. All right. I'm starting with my left foot, so I'll cue from the left. So I'm going to use left heel down, roll toes forward, softness into the knee. Right foot comes over to the left, hands at heart center. Feel free to stay here if you can. If you want to come down a little bit more here, you can. Left elbow, we'll gaze forward. Don't follow the hands. Left elbow to that right knee. Come down a little bit if you can. Oh, I lost my balance. There we go. Woo. When you're ready, slowly come up. You noticed I was already standing. I was really struggling with that one today. This morning I could do it. Today, afternoon, not so much. So, hey, we're human. Other side, right? So, right foot comes forward. Into that nice little softness. This time, left foot comes up to the knee. Hands at heart center. And then we'll see how our twist goes on this side. Just keep looking forward, elbow to that knee, and then see if you can sink a little. Find your breath, slow and easy. Perfect. When you're ready, come on out. Woo! I cheated on that one. I'll show you. So in case you were struggling with this one today too. So I did the piriformis, just like we did, but I was really struggling and not enjoying the pose because I was all over the place. I put my toe down, elbow to the knee, and I still was in a modifying position. So looking at the floor. So if you were struggling and you want to feel what that pose feels like, this is a good modification. And come on up. Beautiful, nice breath in. Exhale, come to the front of your mat. Beautiful, are you ready? Palms forward, roll those shoulders back. Inhale, bring those hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bring it down. Step back, high plank. Finding cobra or up dog. And finding our down dog. Close the eyes, take a few breaths here. We're going to come down to seated and down onto our back, so feel free to bring the knees down. If you'd like to look forward towards the hands and hop through, you're welcome to. And then we go ahead and come down onto our back. We are all done working, so we're going right from work to a nice little gentle transition into our Shavasana. So go ahead and rock side to side, close the eyes. Really think about that intention that you set for the practice today. See if you met that goal, that little sankalpa that you set for yourself. And go ahead and think about that kind of thought. When you're ready, go ahead, bring the forehead to the knees, knees in, squeeze everything tight, tight, tight. Then full body stretch, toes to one end, fingers to the other, big breath in. And exhale, bring those hands down at your side for your Shavasana. I invite you to breathe a little more deeply. I invite you to bring some movement to the fingers and to the toes. like to roll to one side or the other, go ahead and do so. Taking your time, slowly and mindfully coming back up to a seated position. And when you get here, I welcome you to bring your hands at heart center if you wish. I thank each and every one of you for joining me in class today, for exploring our practice a little deeper, having a little fun. The light teacher in me honors the light teacher in each one of you. Namaste. Have a wonderful weekend. If you're joining me tomorrow morning, I will see you here tomorrow morning. Take care, everybody.